test up here, and if it's positive, are we still going to act like it's not positive?
Yeah, I'm gonna start having some symptoms, I'll tell you that.
And honestly, they never clean out the air vents, so who knows what we're breathing in. Good morning.
I didn't see it going that way.
Oh, you know what? I think everybody saw it go. Well, when I say everybody, Caroline saw it that way.
The first thing I was like,
Mm,
eh. And then when they came up, I was like, oh.
yeah. For some reason, traffic was very heavy. Yes.
You got the 5 Brittany for that one. I didn't know you were not a gentleman.
Ah.
Real early in the morning, my guy.
Yes, that's.
Seems that.
Vashawn, I need to see if there are any emails.
I didn't see any except for one directly saying do not respond.
Are there any email? Is there still emails on it?
Oh, yes, somebody said, stop using replying all. BCIT has been trying to purge the threads, but every new reply all hinders this process. Well, if people would do something about the sewage smell, we could stop with the reply all.
I'm assuming you.
Oh, no, I put that in the chat box because that sewage smell is coming from the second floor and they haven't solved it there.
You know what's the problem is that when they designed it, they probably didn't put in the right relief valves, and that's why it clogs up. And it's just a smell. It's not like liquid. It's just a smell. But I mean, because you get in some restaurants or something like that, after a couple of years, it starts doing that because they don't have the right vents.
Yes.
If you don't have the right vents, it starts smelling bad. And
They should have put you in charge, Jason.
Yeah.
But people always want to go.
I'm in my 3rd career.
Yeah. People always want to go the cheap route, though.
Especially
Yes. Like we should have had windows, but the exit sign is now working.
oh, I see that.
Well,
I wonder-
let me, it may or may not be working. They may have just clipped some wires. So,
It just that was blank.
oh, there you go.
There's a piece of paper over it that says go exit that way.
Yes. All right, so I'm going to call the docket. When I call your name, please let me know you are here. If you don't answer, I'm going to assume you're not here and a warrant may be issued for your arrest. In custody, we have Leroy Johnson and Julian Reyes. Christopher Barreau. Am I pronouncing that correctly? I'm doing the French pronunciation. Christopher Barreau or Barreau. In custody, we have Myra Matthews, Michael Herrera.
Here.
Stephen Matthews. Richard Esquivel. Kevin Robinson.
Here.
Sarah Rodriguez. Sarah Elizabeth Rodriguez. Ignacio Rios. Ignacio Rios. In custody, we have Jonathan Sanchez. Raul Lucio. Raul Lucio. In custody, we have Devontae Pollard, Jonathan Bolden, William Chapman, Paris Farris, David White, Ralph Perez.
Present.
In custody, we have John Dominguez, Eros Rodriguez, Robbie Gonzalez, Brian Sanchez, Stevie Ray Stokes.
Present.
Thank you. Philip Singleton.
Here, man.
Thank you. In custody, we have Joe Gonzalez, Sean Branch, Marco Ramirez, Domingo Martinez. Domingo Martinez. Timothy Nichols. Thank you. Marcelo Alonso. Marcelo Alonso. Anyone who's present and your name was not called. All right, we'll start over here. What's your name? Demetric Matthews. Mackey. Do you know who your attorney is? I'm sorry, what? All right, this is an important moment in your life, so everyone should know your attorneys, just like you should know your doctor's name if you're going into surgery. We'll see what's happening with your case. Just give us a moment. Yes. Robert what? And who's your attorney? All right, just have a seat. We'll get with you. Yes. Raul Lucio. Who's your attorney? All right, just have a seat and we'll get with you.
In the first row, Mr. Lucio. You belong here. You're the first row. It's 14 on.
All right, thank you. All right, everyone, we're going to await your attorneys and then we will start. All right, where are the attorneys? Every last one of them should probably be in a jury trial somewhere.
Taking a break.
Taking a break? Well, we'll see what happens.
Started.
Yes. All right. Yes.
Domingo Martinez, last page.
Yes.
You gave permission to. I just intended to.
All right, thank you. Could I see the file on Martinez? Thank you. So where's? All right, Deputy Mark, can you see where Mr. Javier Medina is? Hi, I'm, thank you so much for coming. Oh, no, I understand.
Uh-oh. I'm in trouble already.
So then I tried.
I got a text, somebody saying he's going to go like the. Okay. See where we got, so I don't know what. Push.
No, Jesse. Because you got from us and you gave us.
You're right.
I think you did. But then I tried. I won't try to do that because he wasn't allowed to. I'm not used to it.
Yes. Your name? Sarah.
Hey, don't ask Scott.
Sarah what?
Cost more than one. I got a deal where you're gonna dismiss felony. It keeps recepting. I keep telling you not to do that. I'm 100%. Yes, Florida's and I started talking about it. It's all about vaccine. I just like, well, just.
Takes a look at her hat.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, and it's gonna.
All right, so Mr. Martinez, just give us a moment. Family violence. This is Domingo Martinez. He's requesting permission to travel.
It looked like Brittany was already put her position or the state's position on here. I just need to talk with her.
All right.
about it. If you can,
Down at 9.
Yes, and give me a reason for the,
yeah, all I have is
Waiting to get
no.
a position, but not under reason.
All right, thank you. So Mr. Martinez, I'm going to put you in the waiting room.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'll put you in the waiting room, then we'll bring you back.
Thank you.
Understood. I promise. I'm writing right. What? Tell me what happened. I will be honest.
Me?
If I wrote.
Okay, have a seat in the first row since you're late.
Oh, no.
Yeah. This is over there.
I don't know.
Yes, he's, I'm kind of up to. I'm beating up somebody else.
All right, to everyone who's conferring at the table, if you all want us to hear you, then we can hear your conversation.
What we doing easy, you know, okay. That's why we put them out there. Nothing under the table.
Now we'll see. We'll see where we are.
Okay.
Someone say, who do I go with? Yeah, he said, you ain't what you should have said. What? Okay, let's do the first one. Wow, it's more time. Oh. Yes, it does. And that we- so under the-
Michael Villarreal, do you have any objection? We were here last time with Diamond Champagne Dancy, who was going to be traveling to California for the medical procedure. Do you have any objection to that? I mean, I'm sure the family who wants her to carry the child has already paid for it.
I have to ponder on that one for a second, Judge.
Okay,
Those are some competing interests.
all right, thanks. All right, and everyone, I'm going to take a 5-minute break. Could I see prosecutors on the jury trial in the back, please? All right, everyone, please be seated.
Yes. Assessment is the fact that. That has to be on the table.
Morning. Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Is it something that's on the docket today?
No, well, I have that too, but I have something that I need to approach you on.
Yes, what is it?
It's, I filed motions to 2 MPRs for bond.
All right, so I need the file.
I'm gonna pull them, I just wanted
Okay,
to let you know I got.
sure. You need to confer with the state. Who's here on Philip Singleton?
I am, Your Honor.
Yes, come forward. All right. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
It's just on me.
You want this?
yes. All right, what is happening on this case?
Your Honor, the state has made a very generous offer. Mr. Singleton wants to accept it. However, I'm being called to another court for a jury. So if we just reset this for a week or so I can come back and we'll get the deal done.
Okay, where are you in jury trial?
Actually, I've got to go to the 186th. And then I've got to go also to Seguin today. So but my time is just a little tied up. And like I said, we'll do this next week or whenever. And Friday I have to go to my roommate's father's funeral.
Okay,
We're
And-
leaving it open. Judge.
and where's your jury trial?
Do what?
Where's
Well,
the
I'm
jury
being
trial?
called on the docket, so I don't know that I'm going to actually go, but I've got to go answer those two.
All right. So are you able to come back tomorrow?
I'm going to Hillsborough to my roommate's father's.
Ah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, me too, but you know,
So,
live a good, nice, long life.
are you able to come back on Monday?
Oh, I'll be here for Andrew Pena.
All right.
Oh, wait, no, that's on the 27th. I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Would you like on the 27th?
I was given inaccurate information, Your Honor. I will not be here. Yes, I can be here Monday.
All right, we'll recall you for Monday, Mr. Singleton.
Yes, ma'am.
And thanks for dressing appropriately for court. You know, it's been a long time since I've seen someone in suspenders.
It's my age. It goes by pants.
Well, you know, there's a,
For the compliment, I feel good about wearing them.
now there's a Western, I can't remember the name of it, where a guy had on suspenders and a belt. And the hero picked him out as the bad person. And they said, why? You were correct, but why? He's like, you can't trust a man who can't trust his suspenders or his belt. So we will come back on the 13th. They'll give you a reset form.
All right.
All right, see you then. Have a great day. Brittany, there is a Mr. Martinez who wants to travel and you're opposed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Has he been there before or no?
No, and if I remember correctly, he had requested that a couple of times, and we've been opposed. And I mean, the basis is that, I don't know what it's, don't have the file in front of me, but there's federal history as well. So.
All right, if you can get that information for the court. Mr. Martinez, I know there's a request for you to go to Candela. Do you pronounce this
Yes, Your Honor.
Kahula?
Oh, yeah.
There we go, that Mexico. And so the state is going to get more information for me.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'm going to put you in the waiting room. They're going to look for their information and we'll go from there, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Who's here on Richard Esquivel?
I am, Judge.
And where's Mr. Esquivel?
Judge, are those microphones or lasers? Because
They are whatever you all want them to be that will help you all speak up.
Judge, Mr. Escabel has been approved for PTD. Mr. Garrahan just approved that. I'm having him fill out the application. We're going to turn it in at the fourth floor. We just asked for some time for them to review it and accept him.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a PTD date on Richard Esquivel.
Come back on March the 30th.
All right, we'll be back on March 30th. Make sure all the information is filled out, and thank you for addressing appropriately for court.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, you're welcome. Fashawn, on Andrew Pena, make sure that's a summons because there's no line for me to write summons on the motion to revoke. All right, thank you.
Especially in Maryland. I guess so.
All right, who's here? I'm Brian Sanchez. And excuse me, person with managed, are you here with managed assigned counsel in that capacity? All right, they're in the back in the jury room. Yes. Thanks for coming. All right, what is happening with Mr. Sanchez?
Judge, we have an offer, we conferred, and we also have filed the motions to us. And we have not reached an agreement.
Okay. And that motion to suppress, is that going to be dispositive? Have you discussed the motion to suppress with the state?
Yes, that's what we were just doing, Judge.
And are they in, I guess, disagreement?
Yes, sir. We, like I said, we could not agree.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Ferguson, I'm going to need a jury trial date. Do you all have all the discovery? Last time we were here, there was an issue with body cam.
We finally got the body cam check. We were discussing that as well.
All right, so I'll need an acknowledgement of discovery signed today. And state, how long do you expect the jury trial to last?
1 or 2 days, Judge.
All right, so Ms. Ferguson, if I could have a jury trial date. And we'll carry the motion to suppress with trial. And for some reason, I don't have your motion to suppress in the file.
I'll check in back. Well, there's anything that.
Okay.
I
Oh, Caroline, it's okay if it's not here now. It just needs to be there when they start their jury trial. I know you'll have it.
I'll check my file.
We only have one clerk. She's doing an awesome job, though.
That's why I didn't want to make it any more difficult.
You know, Bashan, that's the problem with women. We always multitask so well. People don't give us extra help. They're like, oh, the woman can do it. And that's what Caroline has been doing.
You know that comment. My perspective, that's what I've experienced. Every day.
How's your wife doing?
Doing great, Judge.
Tell her I miss seeing her around the court. She was always had a smile. She was so serene.
She's smiling even broader now that she's
Retired, yeah. All right, so we'll come back for jury trial on March 7th. And just make sure you sign the acknowledgement of discovery before you leave. And Ms. Ferguson will give you the reset form. And thanks for dressing appropriately for court. All right, and so I'm going to make March 7th also his plea deadline date. So after that, the court will not consider any plea bargain agreements unless there's good cause. Otherwise, you have to plea open to the court. Do you understand? All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's a lot more discovery.
All right, Norma, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to let the doctor know in the back that if the defendant is not there, he can leave because I know he has other patients to see.
So I want to get the steps and get all of you.
Yes.
Watch that fine.
No.
Good. I could ban.
I remember. No, I've seen it, for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. Even more, yeah, sometimes you see it.
One day I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. You know what? I think that it's fun, we're because we're
You're well.
all right.
That's what it said.
All right, everyone, please be seated. On Jonathan Bolden. And if Mr. Bolden can come forward. Council be on this side. All right, what is happening in this case?
Your Honor, the state tendered an offer today. I reviewed it with Mr. Bolton. He does want to take it to trial. I am asking for at least one setting so I can go over everything with him before he walks away from the offer. I'm not trying to take away his right to trial, just want to review everything different closer to benefit.
All right, do you have all the discovery?
I do believe so, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. I need a jury trial date on Mr. Bolden. I'm anticipating this. I mean, it's a violation of registration. It should probably take a day.
Yeah.
All right, so Ms.
I would agree,
Ferguson, this will be, if we were to pick a jury on Wednesday, it'll probably be done on Wednesday. It'll be completed on Wednesday, so it's gonna be a relatively short trial.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we'll make this soon as possible.
Oh, sure.
And Your Honor, I am going to ask just for a plea deadline as well, just for the benefit of Mr. Bolton, whether he takes it or not, but just so you know what it is.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, what is the soonest we can get to this jury trial? Next week. Sure. Okay. Yeah, let's put it on next week then. You said 28?
I can do 14.
All right, let's Valentine's Day. All right, so we're gonna come back on February 14th. That will be the jury trial date, your plea deadline date. And I'll need an acknowledgement of discovery for you all. You're welcome. Yes.
Real simple. He's on a 7/7.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. I'm gonna need a motion to revoke date on two cases. It's 2014 CR 0519 and 2015 CR 6277. It's the same defendant. See, there's a previous notation in here from Judge Brother. Or did he just, I think he just set the bond, there was no. No health issue.
No, ma'am.
And state you're in agreement with these bonds, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, on the front page, I spoke with Mr. Bartholomew, and I forgot which the call number, but in 2015, we agreed to a 30,000 $15,000 bond, and then on the 2014, I believe it was a $15,000 bond. This is what the original bonds were set at the beginning of the case.
All right. And listen, today you're whispering.
I am.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or either my allergy ear is acting up, but I think it's a whispering.
Maybe I haven't had all my caffeine yet.
Justin, I think you put 28 February.
All right, so it's gonna be December, February 28th.
I'll be out of state.
Whenever you will be in.
I won't be back till March the 3rd, Your Honor. I'm going to be gone for the next.
All right, so Ms. Ferguson put it for March.
Middle of the month to be better. Just to take that.
Oh, you'll be back.
No, I know. Judge. It's so loaded after I filed all of these continuances. If the first 7 to 10 days on January.
I mean, I can put it before you leave.
You could, however, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm just asking if it could be a little later in the month.
Well, the problem is your client had some. I'm not taking any of it, but there appears to be some issues with UAs. I'm gonna set a spot, but I'm gonna require him to do UAs with probation. He doesn't do that.
That's fine, Judge. Be no problem.
All right. So I'll set the bond for 30,000. And Bashan on Nicholas Ornelas, 2015 CR 6277 and 2014 CR 0519. I'm gonna require that he do weekly UAs, which he was supposed to have done before. As a condition of bond. All right, is there anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
He is.
Just make sure satellite.
Oh.
Yeah, because they won't say.
Good.
Good morning. Thank you, question. Like I said, this station.
Would you like me to take those?
Oh, yes. And when are you setting them, Norma?
I said March 6th.
All right, so we'll be back on March 6th.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Judge. Your approach.
Good morning. Norma.
Morning.
Fine, I was gonna say, how long ago, because you were very.
All right, now Myra Matthews.
Yeah, approach the bench, Your Honor. Judge, we have filed a request, I've confirmed with the state on it, asking about additional 20 days to finish our discovery and we're getting new plea deadline, extended out about 20 days out, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'm in agreement only because I know Mike and I need to sit down and go through all the discovery of this case and make sure he has everything. And it is a significant case, Your Honor.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna set it for jury trial. And the plea deadline date will be your jury trial.
Thank you, Your Honor. It gives me additional time that I will need to prepare.
All right, Ms. Ferguson.
At the end of the day, it may save us a jury trial.
Okay. I need a jury trial date on Mr. Matthews. How long do you anticipate this trial last? Come on, Mrs. Sorry, 2 weeks.
Trim it down maybe a week. It'd be the full week.
Oh, we'll listen to it as long as
I
it
think
goes.
4, possibly 5 days. So 4 days is fine.
Is there video?
Yes.
I always ask. Greg,
A whole lot.
Yes, there's
Why
videos.
the-
is video going to be played?
Yes,
Is it 13 hours?
no.
10 hours, 9 hours?
It's quite a deal. That's why we're reviewing it well in
Yeah,
advance.
I don't think I think it's single digit hours.
Okay, so it won't go for an entire month.
I don't. So,
Okay, All right, if we go beyond a month, I'm gonna tap out. All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a setting? April 11th?
April 11th will work, Your Honor.
Okay. Is your brother gonna come down?
I think you may actually sit in on this.
All right.
We're having a brief lunch.
Always appreciate you, but she has not seen or met your brother yet.
Okay. Your Honor, thank you for your consideration of my request this
All
morning.
right, you're welcome. How's everything else going?
Everything else going on pretty good. Got my cases restarted. Everything's back on track again.
Okay, awesome. I'll tell your wife said that mom and I say.
Thank you very much. I
All right,
appreciate it.
so-
Good day.
Mr. Matthews, the plea deadline date and jury trial date is gonna be April 11th. After that date, the court will not accept any plea bargain agreements with good cause. Otherwise, you'll have to appear, I'm sorry, otherwise you'll have to be open to the court. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, they'll take you back.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
So to send, in my secretary, Val, I call it, why you call it.
Thank you.
Just. Okay. Okay. All right, thanks. All right, Norma, as you know, if your mom ever calls you, you need to answer the phone. So whenever I answer the phone, you know it's mom calling. My brothers sometimes, they're just saying, what are you up to? All right, so Mark Ramirez.
And he was brought over because somebody had requested a PR bond. He is indicated he did request a PR bond.
All right, have you been able to confer with the state on the actual substance of the
I've
case?
just talked to Mr. Garahan, and so I'm gonna email him the information and then we're gonna, it's an IMAG case, Judge,
Okay.
so we're gonna try to work it out.
All right, so Mr. Ramirez, you're not requesting a PR bond? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Did you want us to, oh, you can have a seat. So Mr. Ramirez, I'm sorry, come down, Mr. Ramirez, so that we won't be shouting at each other. Mr. Ramirez, we normally don't have pre-indictment cases set in this court. But counsel, if you want him brought back on a specific day, we can do that.
Then it's work, let me work it out with Mr. Garahan, if we can work it out, then I'll call this,
Ferguson.
I was gonna, for some reason, I called her Norma Frank, I want to call her Frankie.
That's okay.
Ferguson, we'll set it for 2 weeks, work something out.
All right, so Mr. Ramirez, what's going to end up happening is that if your attorney wants you placed on the docket again, he will request it and we'll have you brought over. But I'll note that you asked that the motion for the PR bond be withdrawn, okay? All right, thank you. Thank you. Deputy Laura, do you have a whiteout? Does anyone have one? Oh, thank you. And my favorite color too. Today is going to be a great day.
Oh, yeah, you know. Well, that's the problem.
No.
Right. Yes. Okay, so can I see the file and make sure that I write in that? All right, so is he here in court today or no? And what's the name, Rios? Oh, Ignacio Rios. No, he's not here. And I think Matthew Allen did tell me. Yes, okay. Will Brooks. Hello. Welcome back. See? And did you tell her it was not re-gifted from me? Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. Who's here on Leroy Johnson? All right, and everyone, if you could please whisper. All right, Mr. Johnson, come forward. And do you know if the state had a chance to review the top evaluation?
I don't know if the state did, I did.
All right, who's the representative of the state on Leroy Johnson?
It was Jason.
Leroy Johnson? It's a sentencing.
Okay.
Okay. All right, you ready, Deanna? Court is calling 2022. If everyone could please whisper 2022 CR 10140, State of Texas versus Leroy Johnson. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Gearhan, Your Honor.
Defense.
Robert Porter for Mr. Johnson.
And are you Mr. Johnson? We're here for sentencing. You entered a plea of no contest on January 19th. You made an application for deferred adjudication. According to the plea bargaining agreement, the state waived the deadly weapon allegation. Punishment was to be assessed at a cap of 6 years in the prison, and the state is silent on your application. They're taking certain items into consideration, and there's to be restitution, if any, to Hector Vega. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, any objections to the PSI report?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Your Honor, yes.
All right, what are your objections?
We're standing before the court saying that the court is being misled as far as the cap evaluation.
Right, I'm sorry, just a moment. Excuse me, in the box, if you all could either whisper or not speak in the box while we're on the record so that the court reporter can hear. All right,
I'll speak up a little louder, Judge.
thank you.
We're going to stand before the court and say that the cap evaluation is not correct. nor if anything else was correct as far as his drug use is concerned.
All right, so what is your correction to the tap?
He does have a drug issue, Your Honor. Ecstasy and meth daily. At issue, Judge, is we visited about what was going on and why we're doing what we're doing today is simply this. Mr. Johnson was always thinking, okay, what's the easiest way that I could get out the quickest type of deal. After he did this evaluation, we got to thinking about it. I said, no, I need help. I need to do that so I can quit lying to myself and quit lying to society, quit lying to everybody. And I said, well, you've told him this, and that's not true. That is true. And I want drug help. So I guess my objection would simply be that when they're sitting there saying that there's no recommendation that it's just cannabis use and then alcohol way back when. It is true he doesn't drink much alcohol at all, or use marijuana much, but he uses ecstasy and meth.
All right, anything else with regards to the actual report?
Everything else is fine.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, having said that, it was refreshing to actually have an individual sit there saying, have reflection, and I'm sitting there to sit there and say, you know what, this is crazy for me to be doing what I'm doing. I do want help. So respectfully requesting this court to grant his application for giving drug treatment.
All right, so what the court has concern about is number 8 in the PSI report. It's on page 5. And I'd like to know what is meant by this type of behavior before.
Well,
That's what the complainant is saying. The complainant says that he's engaged in this type of behavior before.
no. Well, Judge, I don't think I could speak.
I'm so sorry. That's me misreading. He stated that if the defendant has a history of this type of behavior, he does not think he should get probation. But if this wasn't an isolated incident, he can understand him being given another chance.
Right. So
I'm sorry, my misreading. So, Mr. Johnson, you waived your right to remain silent when you entered this plea. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth to help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record, please. All right. So I'm gonna need you to speak up so that I can hear.
Leroy Johnson.
So explain to me about your drug use.
I take ecstasy every day, like all day. That's it. So much ecstasy, I get delusional.
I can't hear you.
I said after so much ecstasy, I guess I went delusional. Went outside. Shooting.
Are you in your children's life at all?
Yes, ma'am.
Why? Because it doesn't appear that you're a good parent.
I don't always do that. I went delusional. I was seeing.
No. I want you to focus on the questions that I'm asking. My next question for you is, are you in the lives of your children?
Yes, ma'am.
How often had you been seeing them before this?
I have my children there all the time on the weekends and holidays.
Who's letting you have children on the weekend and holidays when you use ecstasy daily?
I'm still a good parent.
All right, let me ask you a question. How old are your children?
10, 7, and 8.
All right, so they're 10, 7, and 8.
We're going on, 10, 7, and 6.
10, 7, and 6, right? All right, so let's say you're going to have your children for the weekend, and you want to have your children for the weekend. An emergency comes up, and the mother of the children and no other relative can keep them. But somebody tells you, hey, I know someone who's a great babysitter, and it's me. They tell you, get Stephanie Boyd. I know you have your emergency. She's a great babysitter. You say, I don't know. And somebody says, well, let me give you her references. They give you my references. You call and check. Everybody says, Stephanie Boyd is a great babysitter. And as a matter of fact, she's the best babysitter in the world. And you say, well, I still don't know. Let me just have her come over and see if my children like her or not. So you stay with me and you stay with the children for an hour. The children love me. They're all over me saying, Daddy, please let her be our babysitter while you go off on this important thing you have to do. And finally you say, okay, Stephanie, I'm going to want you to call me every hour, but I'm going to let you babysit my children because children like you. And I got all these great recommendations from everybody saying you're great. You don't have any criminal history. I'm going to let you babysit my children. And I'm excited because you're saying, I'm going to pay you $70 an hour. I'm like, great. And so as you're leaving, I say, well, there's something I really need to tell you that you may not know about me. I use ecstasy every day. When I tell you that, do you let me babysit your children? So you have been the parent or the babysitter who's using ecstasy every day, babysitting your children. And that means you're not a good parent. Because if you thought you were a good parent and using ecstasy, you would allow someone to babysit your children who use ecstasy. Do you understand? So I will tell you this. I'm going to give you a choice. And Mr. Porter will tell you, sometimes I can give people choices, sometimes I cannot give them choices. I can place you on probation. I'll give you a deferred adjudication, but you're going to safety because felony drug court will not accept you. We can have them look at you, but they're not going to accept you because of this gang affiliation issue. So you can either wait and go to SafeP. SafeP is a 9-month program. SafeP, you're going to spend 6 months inside the facility. And then there's 3 months of aftercare. So you can do that, or I will sentence you to 4 years prison. So you can discuss that with your attorney. Mr. Porter, do you need to discuss that with him?
I would like to, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Yes. And you dated it. It's going to be a great day. It's like the Gracie song, Gracie's Corner. You know, Gracie's Corner is actually started by a family out of Houston. Yes. And Caroline, I'm just waiting with the other file. But those are- All right, who's here on Ralph Pettis? Sure. And where is Mr. Pettis? All right, Ralph Pettis, if you come forward, please. You know, I'm easily impressed. Everybody is dressing appropriately for court. I really like that.
Last clean outfit I have.
All right, so I'm signing the CPS protective order.
Judge.
Yes.
Oh, just said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Mr. Pettis, I need a 30-day reset for discovery. So what will happen, Mr. Pettis, is in 30 days, the state should have all their discovery. The defense should have all its discovery. The state should tender you an offer. And then the next date that you will receive will be your plea deadline date, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, just sign the reset form and we will see you back on March 21st.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, you're welcome. Who is here on David White.
Judge, on his-
All right, and where's Mr. White? Come forward. Okay. Yes, I understand. All right, so who are you conferring with? All right, so on Mr. White's case, we're going to come back in 30 days, and in 30 days, everything needs to be completed.
Hopefully, I'm not the one that's slowing things down, I promise you.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a 30-day reset on Mr. White. All right, we'll be back on March 21st. I'm writing that this is the last reset for this matter.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay. All right, Mr. Porter, you all can come back up. All right, so we are back on the record in 2022 CR 10140, State of Texas versus Deferred Johnson. Has your client made a decision?
Yes, Judge, it was a quick decision. He had already made up his decision. He just wanted to go some legalities of it, but he has to try.
Okay. All right, then this is what the court will do. Court will sentence you to 8 years deferred adjudication. I'm going to want gang supervision, proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors, Mr. Porter. Once he's in his sobriety, then the court may consider that. But for now, no unsupervised contact with minors. Ms. Abrams, I don't know if Child Protective Services is involved in this case or not, but if they are, I'm going to want CPS compliance. I'm going to want regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Field visits 3 times per month. A referral to felony drug court. And if he's not accepted in felony drug court, then I'm going to want safety. And he's to remain in custody until accepted. In felony drug court or safety. There's to be restitution and no contact with Hector Vega. Taking consideration 2022 CR 10141, 2022 CR 10142. The UA hotline upon release. And he's to be tested at least once a week. And state, you can, I'm sorry, state, I meant probation. You can lower that as you all see is appropriate. And I'm going to want 90 meetings in 90 days upon release. Probation, is there anything else he needs? I'm sorry, parenting classes. And those parenting classes will be with triple P. 250 hours of community service restitution, 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. Court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. The remaining hours will be waived upon completion of parenting classes. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Is there anything else you need for me to be successful on this probation? All right, why you have your head back like you're trying to be hard with me? All right, so do not come to the court trying to be hard because this is not the streets. You understand? Do you understand? All right, thank you. Oh, yes. Mhm. It's not gonna last long. All right, who is here on Kevin Robinson? All right, Mr. Robinson. All right, on this one, there were some issues with the discovery on extraneous offenses. Have you received that?
The state said that they provided that, uploaded that prior. I requested discovery yesterday and it just turned green, so I will check and make sure that that's uploaded.
So has it been uploaded or no?
I'm not sure. They told me just now that they uploaded it, so.
Okay, so it's been uploaded just now?
Yes. What the discovery is that the extraneous offenses were uploaded to the Bear system and I just requested them, so. Okay. If he says they are.
All right, so are they uploaded, State?
I would have to check that, and the prosecutor she was conferring with has left, so.
Okay, so the prosecutor informed me that it's been uploaded.
I believe them.
Okay.
They told me they would.
Okay. All right, so has an offer been tendered to you?
No, it hasn't, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Ferguson, on Mr. Robinson, I need a 30-day reset, please. All right, we're gonna come back on the 21st, and on the 21st, State, you need to be prepared to have made them an offer. And then, Mr. Robinson, your next date will be your jury trial date and plea deadline date. All right, do you have any questions?
21st.
Yes, they'll give you a reset form.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Who's here on Michael Herrera? All right, come forward. And where's your client? All right, come forward. Thanks for dressing appropriately for trial. Everybody who's come up is dressed appropriately for trial. I don't know if that's defense attorneys or people just having great fashion sense. So thank you, defense. All right, so we were here last time on January 12th for discovery, and it is a reset to make sure that everybody has their discovery. So does everybody have their discovery?
Not yet, Your Honor, but we're one step closer.
Okay, why don't we have the discovery? And this has been,
We did receive the records. However, it was brought to my attention by defense counsel that when they were scanned in, they were not marked discoverable. So I went through this morning and marked them discoverable. So she should be able to view all 51 pages tomorrow morning, once the system refreshes.
all right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a 30-day reset on Mr. Herrera. All right, and State, did you tender an offer?
Yes, there's an offer.
All right, so this is going to be set for the 23rd, and the 23rd will be your plea deadline date.
Your Honor, there's two issues that we do need to bring up.
All right, what are the two issues?
The first one is I had approached the court and the state regarding a motion to recommend conditions of bond that I filed. My client asked me to be able to ask the court if he could have the court's permission to go to Sunday church services with his family. I did confer with the prosecutor. She stated that they are in opposition to it. So we decided, since we were set for today, we could go ahead and approach on that motion today.
Oh, we can, do you want to place it on the record, counsel?
We can't, I'm sorry, I thought we were on the record.
No, we're not on the record. So that all defense attorneys know, and you can go forth and tell defense attorneys that we are on the record when I call the case number and the style of the case.
I apologize.
Oh, no problem. Court is calling 2022 CR 0147, State of Texas versus Michael Herrera. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Mitchell for the state.
Defense?
And Jessica Gonzalez for Mr. Herrera.
All right, and are you Mr. Herrera? All right, the defendant has, through his attorney, has filed a motion to amend both bond conditions, requesting that he be allowed to attend church services with his uncle from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at St. John's Lutheran Church. State, have you had a chance to review the motion?
We have, Your Honor.
And state, are you opposed?
We are opposed.
All right, and state, why are you opposed?
Your Honor, of course, the nature of this crime is a touching of a child, and with church, there are always children. And so our concern is unsupervised contact with children that might occur at church.
All right, defense.
Yes, Your Honor. I have spoken with my client's mother, who is present in court today. And my client, Mr. Herrera, is actually currently living with her. They both explained to me that if he does go and attend the services, he will be accompanied by his grandparents as well as his parents, his mother and his stepfather. So he can actually be supervised by 4 other individuals. While he's there, it's going to be for limited services from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is a church that they've gone to for a few years now, and they expressed to me that while it is true that normally there are children at church services, in this particular church, there is not that many. But again, he will be supervised with his parents. He will not be alone with any children while he's there, and then he would be returning home after services.
All right, is the church aware of what he's charged with?
That part I do not have the answer to, Your Honor.
All right, then the court will, before the court will make a decision, the court needs to be made aware of whether or not the church is aware of what his charges are. And then at that time, the court will consider your motion, but it
Okay.
needs to be a letter or something from the church stating that they're aware of what his charges are.
Okay, I can provide that, Your Honor, once I've figured out that information.
All right, and then the court will make a decision on whether or not the court will allow church services. But normally, a lot of church services now are online. So does St. John's Lutheran have church online?
Actually, Your Honor, that's actually the second thing I did want to approach to the court to make the court aware. As the court knows, I'm relatively new to the case, but I have been working on the case. And in doing so, I've been speaking with my client, Mr. Herrera. As I'm speaking with him and also reviewing the discovery, I've had several what I call red flags that have come up in communicating with my client, that I think that there may actually be a competency issue here, specifically with regards to any electronic use.
Mhm.
So that is why when I actually did consider that myself, is whether or not he could be able to watch church services online. I think that may pose that difficulty because of this competency
All right.
issue.
And then, and I'm aware of the charges, and when I was thinking of watching church in line, of course, it would be with his uncle or his parents, somebody being there as well.
And to that regard, that's why I waited for today to make the decision on whether or not I was going to file the competency request. I spoke to his mother, and his mother also expressed to me her own personal medical mental health disabilities. So I kind of think that it may all be tied together, which is why when I get back to the office, I will be filing that motion for competency review.
Okay, all right, and then with regards to the motion that we're here on today, once I have information from the church, then the court can make a informed decision on whether or not I will allow that.
I understand, Your Honor.
And I'll note that you're going to file that motion today.
I should have it filed today. I don't foresee any other obstacles, but we never know how my day goes. like everybody else.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
But if we greet the day with smiles, no matter how it goes, it's all okay.
If we're positive about it, I agree. So that is my goal, Your Honor.
All right, just get your reset form from Ms. Ferguson and we'll be back on March 23rd.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Sure. All right, Stevie Stokes. Who's the attorney on Stevie Stokes?
Kelly Fiddle, he just stepped outside with them.
Okay. All right, Paris.
Judge, we're set today for a plea deadline. We were not able to reach an
Mr.
agreement.
Paris, come forward. How you doing today, Mr. Ferris? Your name always, I'm sorry, it's Paris. So your parents named you Paris? Is that after the play, Shakespeare play, or is it after the city?
City,
Oh, okay. Your parents love Paris?
she wanted to go.
Ah, okay. Not Paris, Texas, though. Okay. All right, so today is the day where you make a decision on whether or not you're accepting the state's offer. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, and so your attorney is telling me that you're rejecting the offer. You're requesting a jury trial?
Actually, I accepted that.
All right, let's do this. I'm gonna step out the room. So if you want to put the offer on the record for him, you can.
Okay.
And then I'll come back when you all come get me outside, okay? So everyone just give us 5 minutes, then we'll be right back.
That's what I was kind of getting at. It can't really be good. Right. Well, then you can. Okay. So it's waiting. Yeah, I don't know what she did. 8418.
You don't have an offer yet?
8418.
Put that one on the record.
129.
Hey, we're gonna have to put that on the record.
Put the one, the first one.
Let me do this. I'm gonna tell the judge that we're conferring right now. I'll look at it with Debbie and then we'll get back.
So that's what I'm looking to use to knock out.
Wouldn't be a real, wouldn't really be a just.
Well, for $500, they're something to go JSON. Okay, just so we'll see what happens.
Okay, John Dominguez? Who's the attorney for John Dominguez? Oh, Mr. Dominguez, come down. Which one is it? I don't have, oh, it's up next. All right, Mr. Dominguez, your attorney is not going to be here today. Your attorney has some health issues.
Yes.
So my understanding is that he's been in contact with you, so we can do one or two things. We can reset this case, in which case what will end up happening, we'll reset it and we'll see how your attorney is doing. And or either if you wish to have another attorney, we can do that as well.
The only thing that I knew about him is that this case was supposed to be for a bond reduction today.
Well, I mean, we're not going to do a bond reduction today because your attorney is not available.
I'm not sure what to do. I mean, I don't know anything of him. I knew that he was in a coma. I mean, that's the only thing I knew. I'm not sure if you could get another lawyer or.
All right, we'll see about appointing you another attorney, all right? Just have a seat in the box and we'll go from there. And Ms. Ferguson, if you could look and see. Hi. No, no.
Oh, Dominguez. Further down. Who is? Yes.
Yes. Mr. Bach,
Yes, John.
if you could speak with Ms. Ferguson for a moment.
Absolutely.
Luis Mendez.
I'm here for the judge.
All right, yes,
Yeah, the Bear County Jail. It's actually scheduled for Monday.
yes.
I'm out on Monday, Judge, with a
Okay.
letter on file, and just asking if it can be recalled for Tuesday.
Oh, okay,
And, it's a first setting. Judge.
sure. All right, and is Tuesday enough time for you? It's Valentine's Day.
That's fine. I'll be here.
Oh, okay, you're avoiding not being aware that it was Valentine's Day because you,
I'm on that too.
okay.
Got it all covered.
All right, so we'll recall it then for the 14th.
I'm for chocolates.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay, Norma, on his case, Mendez, we're recalling for February 14th. And Will Brooks said he's bringing chocolates on that day.
Oh, no, that was him, I think. It was Mendez was my guy.
All right, Stevie Stokes. Yes, and where's Mr. Stokes?
He's coming right up the alley.
Morning. Good morning. Let me see where we are on this. Sorry. All right, so the last time we were here, partial GPS was agreed to. That was on the 20th. And then on the 15th, we had some HIPAA release for child was granted, autopsy completed, CPS records, 911 calls needed, state to provide info on upgraded charges. So we're here to see about that.
So I do not have info on the upgraded charges at this point. The discovery, I believe, is complete. What are you still missing?
911.
The 911 call? Okay, well, I can get that easy enough. I would still like a brief period of time to get a clear answer on how our office would like to address this.
Okay, so I'm assuming, I guess you have to go up the chain of command or something?
Yes.
All right, so this is what the court is going to do. The court is recalling this in 45 days. The court is not going to have any more resets dates for what the state is going to do. we will end up going to trial on an endangering a child and because that's what I have before me.
Understood, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a 45-day reset on Stevie Stokes.
March 30th.
All right, so we're going to come back on March 30th. And state provide info.
And if I have information before that, I have a pretty open communication with Mr. Piddle, so I'll let them.
All right, is there anything else?
That's it, Judge.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, we'll give you a reset form. You're excused. Who's here? I'm Sarah Rodriguez.
For Your Honor.
Where's Rodriguez? Please come forward. All right, you were late for court. Why?
The court moved and the elevators weren't working, so I had to come up the stairs.
All right, we've been in this court since January. And it shows here that you were here on January 19th. So again, why were you late for court?
I mean, the elevators weren't working, so I had to come a different route that I haven't come before. So I went up the stairs and went on, I guess, the second floor.
All right, so here's the thing. I don't allow people to be late for court. I'm on time for court. I go through the same traffic that everyone else goes through. And what I do is I pad my time to anticipate traffic, to anticipate school zones. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So you need to make sure you're on time. I'm going to note that you were late. Do not be late again. You understand?
Yes.
All right, so today is her plea deadline date. What's happening?
We just received a new plea bargain from the state. There's also some additional information that's going to be provided to me in a memo form that I haven't received yet. So we'd ask for just another plea deadline if we could in a couple of weeks so that we could go over the new information and talk about the new plea bargain.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can we recall this on February 16th?
Okay.
All right, your plea deadline date is February 16th. The court will not extend the plea deadline date any further. Do you understand? All right, so Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're
May we be
welcome.
excused?
Yes, after you sign the reset form.
Yes, ma'am.
And Caroline, they're gonna reapproach on that. Sorry.
I'm gonna take.
Thank you. On this 2019.
And Charles, whenever you're ready to approach on him, just let me know.
They're looking at it, see if there's anything I need to tell, anything special I need to, before I talk to them about it.
Okay, sure. So I'm just gonna have them file this back and just
Yes.
let them know when we're ready to approach.
Thank you. Yeah, it's, we're just gonna change from no contact to no contact from very contact. All right, thank you.
I've got this guy. When they started back in 2020, no council, no conversation. So we had. Checks of probation, good operation.
Yes. Oh, no problem.
Probation, and I need your approval of this. I need your approval before I. I've got a phone number. You want to call it yourself. I have multiple times. I never very well. I'm getting probation. Getting the police finally succeed. Younger than me. Like most people, he had a career. He's he's finally turned his shit around at work. Many trips to many facilities. Okay. None of them are related. No, there's nothing else. They were. Yeah. I don't really intend on offering them. I'm not. Yes.
Hello. You're waiting for me?
Mr. Lucio.
Yes.
Like you said him for the 6th, confirmed. You believe it'll be
Oh, I
resolved.
need the file.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's all, yes. It's got a misdemeanor for the 2nd. We worked out an agreement. And I'd like to set it for the 6th since I'm coming back. We should have it resolved.
All right, Raul Lucio. All right, Mr. Lucia, you were late. Why were you late?
I was running behind because my ride was there. And I was, to tell you the truth, I woke up a little late.
All right. See, let me just tell you, in this court, it's always best to start with the truth. Because at the end of the day, if you say the truth, apologize, then everybody moves on. It's when you don't speak the truth,
Yes, ma'am.
then there are issues.
Yes, ma'am.
And I always say, once you apologize to somebody for something, if they're still mean or nasty about it, you've done your part and that's all you can do.
Yes, ma'am.
So in this court, I don't tolerate people being late. Now, because we moved courtrooms, because we used to be at the end of the hallway,
Yes.
for everybody, when it's their first time of the year coming here, I give them a little leeway because maybe they went to the end of the hallway. So I know now, you know where this court is and you cannot be late anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
All right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what's happening with this case?
Well, Your Honor, I believe it's going to work out. We have another case setting on a misdemeanor, Your Honor, we have to deal with first. And that's why I'm asked to come back on the 6th and it's set on the 2nd.
All right, and is this case somehow tied to what happens in the misdemeanor court?
It will be, Your Honor.
State, have you tendered an offer?
Yeah, a general offer?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, and you're asking that this come back March 6th?
Yes, I'll be back on the 6th.
All right,
MTR.
Ms. Ferguson, are you able to put Mr. Lucio on March 6th?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset date for March 6th. Mr. Lucio, March 6th will be your plea deadline date, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form.
Once again, I apologize for being late.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
See, we're done.
Have a seat.
Who's here on Julian Reyes?
I enjoy it. Yeah.
And all right, court is calling 2022 CR 3983, State of Texas versus Julian Joel Reyes. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
Defense,
James Tochi for Mr. Reyes, Judge.
are you Mr. Reyes? All right, you entered a plea of no contest on January 19th, and you applied for deferred adjudication. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 15 years. There's a $1,500 fine. State opposes your application. They're taking in consideration 2022 CR 11026. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
I have, John.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, ma'am.
All right, state, you are opposed. Do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, Judge. Kimberly Molina is here and I'd like the court to hear.
All right, if she'll come forward, please. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Oh, great. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Okay. If you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you could state your name for the record.
Kimberly Lozano.
All right, so this is what we're going to do with this witness, Mr. Toshi. If you could let her stand closest to the court reporter just to make it easy for her to hear.
Of course.
See, Diana, I'm trying to make days better for everyone.
Ms. Lozano.
All right, defense.
Thank you. Ms. Lozano, thank you for coming down this morning. Tell Judge Boyd how you know Julian.
I know Julian because I'm friends with one of his brother's girlfriends, so I've known him for about 6 years,
Julian is how old today?
20 years old.
How well do you know Julian? Like, how much time have you spent with him in the last 6 years? Like, how deep is your connection to him?
I've spent about almost the whole 6 years knowing Julian. All my 3 kids know Julian. They're like to be around Julian. He's funny, playful with them, you know, no sense of fear towards Julian whatsoever.
Okay, so we kind of already got into it, but tell Judge Boyd the Julian Reyes that you know.
Yeah, the Julian Reyes is not the one that committed these crimes. He's always in the house, you know, he likes to play just outside. When he wasn't on monitor, he would like to go play basketball, you know, do normal kid things. It wasn't even like this type of person is not him. He's very playful with my kids, likes to be outside like a normal teenager, even though he's 20.
And just to be clear, we're not saying that he didn't do these things. We're saying that this is not the.
This is not the Julian that I know whatsoever.
Okay. How old are your children?
10, 9, and 2.
And does Julian have a relationship with them or know them?
Yes, he knows them.
Are they fearful of him, or would you be fearful of Julian being around them?
No, I would not. They're not fearful of Julian. I would not be fearful to have them around him.
Have you ever seen or known Julian to be violent in any way?
No violence. Julian has never been violent that I've seen.
Does Julian have some issues that you're aware of that need to be addressed?
I feel like he does have not a big drug issue. I mean, he does not like he's taking drugs every day. It's just when he's going through something, this happens and he takes something, but it's not like if he's on drugs every single day of the week or anything like that. So no drug problem. He has a drug problem, but not where I would say every day, like he's so bad and danger to people.
Does Julian have a support network?
I would feel like he needs a little bit more support, a little bit more guidance.
I'm sorry, could you keep your voice up?
Sorry, I feel like he does need a little support system, a little bit better of a support system, maybe some guidance. Like I've talked to him while he's been in jail and I've offered to be there for him, you know, and help him more, guide him on the right way, because he doesn't really have too much of that.
And he has parents.
He
though.
has parents,
What
yes,
happened?
parents, older brothers.
So he does have a support system in place. What
Yes.
happened to his father? Do you know?
Oh, his father had got killed. Shot and killed, yes.
Today we brought some pictures down and we've looked at these together. What are these pictures of?
This is when one time, I think this was during Christmas, and that's Julian with his niece. And Julian with his son. Again with the niece, and then his two older brothers and his mom.
Okay, and Judge, I don't have these marked, but I would like for you to.
And state, do you have any objection to the court reviewing photographs?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court will review the photographs that have been tendered.
If Julian were to receive probation by the court, are you somebody that would be willing to be part of his support group, help him in any way that he might need?
Yes, of course.
All right, Judge, I don't have any other questions of Ms. Lozano, and pass to Mr. Garrett.
Thank you, Mayor. Your
Yes.
Ms. Lozano?
Lozano, yes.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, you're stating that Mr. Reyes is around your children,
Yes.
or was rather. But you're aware that he takes Xanax roughly 2 to 3 times a week.
I mean, when the time when I was around Julian, he wasn't like that. So,
Well, what about the times when he's around your children
no, he's not on Xanax.
that you're aware of?
Yeah, that I'm aware. And I would pretty much know because he's a completely different person.
Completely different person.
Yes.
On drugs.
Mhm.
And then also you're smoking 6 blunts daily
Mhm.
of marijuana. You're aware of that?
Yes,
Okay, around your children or
not
not?
around my, no.
So how are you aware of that though?
Well, because I would talk to him, so I would know that he was doing that, but I wasn't there.
Okay. And then you also know that he would snort cocaine about 1 gram per month.
Mhm.
You're aware of that?
Well, yeah, because if I would talk to him, I would know that he was doing that, but not
Okay.
around him.
At that time, you wouldn't allow him around your children then?
I mean, I wouldn't go around because I just don't do that stuff, so. That's why I wouldn't go around and be around that.
And you've known him for how many years?
6.
No further questions, John.
Any further questions? I have a question. What is the sign language that's being used in this photograph by the defendant? Does anyone want to address that?
It looks like he's just saying okay to me.
Well, I mean, that would be okay if there wasn't the W.
You could ask Mr. Reyes, Judge, he's gonna speak to you.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you for coming in to testify. All right, defense.
Judge, I don't have any additional witnesses. Mr. Reyes would like to address the court, but before that, I'd like to address the court if I could.
Yes.
So, obviously, a bit of a large ask from the court. You've got a very young man with no criminal history that kind of comes off the blocks with some really big cases. And I'm not making any excuses. Julian has owned up to what he did. He did what you read in the PSI there. He set these things up. He had a weapon. We're not in any way trying to minimize that, but Julian is a 20-year-old kid who does have a bad drug problem. He really does. He's never been in denial about that. And it's gotten the better of him. And like I tell all my clients, either you control it or it controls you. And clearly these drugs, I'm not saying they made him go out and do that, but what I am saying is they certainly affected things that he was doing and the way he was thinking. I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, this kid is so remorseful about what he did and of course the situation he is. He does have his own dependent. He has a lot of stuff inside him, Judge, that you're going to hear about that really needs to get addressed. He needs more than drug counseling. He needs some real serious psychological issues. I think he probably has undiagnosed PTSD from a couple different things. Never made it to high school. I just feel like if you put him in prison, you're just gonna, lack of a better way of saying it, throwing a kid away. I really believe it. A kid that wants help, a kid that needs help, and I think a kid that really could benefit from help. And so I understand there are victims. I understand how serious this is, but he's 20 years old and he's crying for help, and I hope you give it to him. His father was murdered. He wasn't there for that, but his father was murdered in Mexico, and that had a deep impact on him. And we talked about it. When he was 14, he witnessed a family member get murdered as well. And I know that had a deep impact on him. He's carrying around some large, heavy bags that he doesn't know what to do with. And then I think they led him down the path to drugs and the path to this violence. I believe his family when they say this is so far from the Julian they know, guns and violence is, he truly is a really just kind
But
of.
didn't they address his issues in 2016? Because he was on probation in 2016 for retaliation. Then he had marijuana probation in 2017.
I don't know what they addressed back then, Judge. I didn't represent him. Probably not. I'm not sure if Julian was ready to be as forthcoming as he is about the issues that he has. So, and I understand that's part of his makeup. But on that issue, Judge, I just, as big as an ask as it is, I really think that deferred would be much better for him than the prison. The prison is not going anywhere. If he doesn't make it, well, you can hammer him. But today I'm asking you to give him the help that he's asking for and that he really needs. And I want him to talk to you as well, Judge, so I don't want to swear him in.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. You need to keep your voice up if you'll state your name for the record.
Julian Reyes.
All right, defense,
Do you want him over here, Judge?
he can stand there.
Okay. So Julian, I don't really have any specific questions for you, but I want you to tell the judge why you think you deserve deferred.
I just want to let you know, I'm like, if whatever happens, if you do end up sending me to prison, I just feel like that's not gonna make me no better. But if I'm not saying for you not to do that, but I feel like I do need a chance because I never had no guidance in my life, and I do have a baby boy out there. And I just want to be there for him. I know what I did was wrong, and I do take full responsibility on what I did. Because I know nobody should have, do that or, but like, and I do take those drugs, those pills, that I do have a problem like on those pills. And by like seeing my brother die, like really that made me go like more into deep in it. But when I'm on those pills, I'm not the person who I am, like how I am right now. But I feel like I do need a chance, and as I've been here for 5 months, I've been talking to God, and like I just feel like I gotta do right, and I know I can.
You have a drug problem?
Yes, sir.
Are you asking for help?
Yeah, I'm asking for help.
That's all the questions I have, and just, Julian is not the most articulate
Oh, just
person.
1 second. State has questions.
And Mr. Reyes, you said you've never sort of had a chance here, but you were arrested in 2014. Do you recall being arrested for theft?
For theft?
Yes, sir. The case was reviewed and closed. Do you remember that?
At school?
Okay. And then also 2015 for criminal mischief. The case was rejected, but you were arrested for that. Remember that?
What's criminal mischief?
Meaning that you damaged something.
All right, so I'm gonna need you to speak up, okay? Pretend like it's okay if you speak like you're outside. I always tell people, the person who's the farthest person in the audience, talk loud enough so they can hear. All right.
Criminal mischief, the question was from Mr. Reyes was, what was criminal mischief? Means that you damaged something that wasn't yours. Do you recall that back in 2015?
I don't remember.
Okay. Then you also were placed on probation for retaliation back in 2016. Do you recall that?
I don't know what the retaliation is for. I remember saying something at school.
Okay, but you were on for 6 months probation, it states. Do you remember being on probation for 6 months? Okay, so you had a chance then to correct your ways, right?
I did.
Okay, and you did not. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then also you got picked up in 2017 for possession of marijuana, and you also had 9 months probation back in 2018. You do recall that, right?
So
And at that time, you had a chance to address your drug problems and you chose not to. Is that right?
I did, but that was before my brother had passed away.
Okay. So you're stating that you committed these 2 ag robberies because your brother passed away?
I'm not stating that. I'm stating because I had started doing pills a whole lot.
Okay, but you do remember committing these 2, these two ag robberies happened, one happened in January of 2021, the other one happened in September of 2022. He committed two different ag robberies with a gun, right? So, okay. No further question, John.
All right, so I have a question. What is the sign language?
I'm not sure. He's asking you with your hand, or what is that?
It's just something me and my brothers, just, you know,
Yeah, but what does it mean?
like brother love.
That's not according to American Sign Language.
That's how we do it.
That's not West Side.
No, that's not what's up.
Okay. All righty. Well, brotherly love with the W.
Brotherly love.
That, Judge, that just from the state's point of view, that does look like more of a Playboy bunny rather than.
So that's what I'm seeing in the photo.
I-
But I will take your word for what that means. So here's my question for you. And this is just straight from the police report, and I'm trying to figure out where your thought processes were. In the report, it says that you pulled a gun out. Let me go to the exact thing it says. It says the victim stated he saw the suspect pull out a handgun from the suspect's waistband, pull the gun, slide back, and pointed the gun at the victim. Suspect then said, "Give me the phone, drop it on the floor, don't try anything or I'll bust a cap." The victim stated, "Don't do this." So my question is, what were you thinking when you were pulling the slide back?
I wasn't thinking at all, young.
Well, I mean, there had to be some thought process because this person was trying to sell this phone online. And he set up a sale on an app on OfferUp. So somebody had to say, yes, I want to buy this item you're selling. Then there had to be a place to arrange to meet. Am I right? So did you go on OfferUp, see it, and make an arrangement to go meet?
Yeah, but like,
So here's my question. When you were on OfferUp, did you scroll through different items and say, this looks like a good item? How did that happen?
I was just under the influence and just doing something that I shouldn't have been doing.
Well, no, I mean, I know you're saying you're under the influence, but I'm wondering what your thought process are. Because if you're under the influence, you have to say, I'm going to go and OfferUp. I'm going to look for somebody who's selling something, somebody who looks like I can rob them. So then after you go and OfferUp and you say, yes, I will pay that price. Let's meet at this location. You all meet at the location. So then once you meet the person at the location, you had to find them and say, this is the guy, this is the person, this is what they said they will be wearing. You had to say, I'm taking a gun with me. And then when the person presented the cell phone for you to see, you had to have said, okay, I'm pulling out my gun because I want the cell phone. That's a lot of thought process that goes in for somebody who's high. So I'm just trying to figure out, what were you thinking during each stage of this robbery?
I wasn't thinking on it.
Okay. All right, any other questions from either side?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
I don't have any additional questions.
All right, so the court will hear argument. State, you're opposed?
Yes, Your Honor. State's position is that the defendant has had previous chances to correct his ways. And when he was on bond or on this ag robbery that he currently pled to, there is another ag robbery that we're taking into consideration that he committed while he was on house arrest and committed at his own house.
Counsel.
So with fact is, Your Honor, the state's position is that the defendant has had a chance on even some type of supervision. So the state's position is that the 15 years TDC would be appropriate in this case.
All right, defense.
Judge. You know, every day as a sitting district judge, you have opportunities to quite literally change people's lives. And, you know, today you have that chance right now. I'm never a fan of throwing anybody as young as him away to the prison system, where I truly believe that he's asking for and can be helped by the things that are available through this court to help him. And so I just, understanding the serious nature of the case, you can change his life in a good way. And in 10 years, he can talk about the judge that really saved his life. His intentions are sincere. I believe that he's not a violent person, despite the violent, horribly violent things that he did. And that he really, truly wants to change his life. A lot of people will come and tell you that. This kid means it. And the only way that's going to happen is if you allow it. So I hope that you do that and that you don't throw his life away.
All right. So, Mr. Reyes,
Yes,
I will tell you, I look at each case on a case-by-case basis. And sometimes, well, I would say really all of the time, when someone is sentenced, part of it, if they receive probation, even if they receive probation, part of it is punishment, because it's the punishment of probation. Or if they go to prison, it's the punishment of prison. And then it's also about rehabilitation. And sometimes rehabilitation has to occur at the prison. I'm going to deny your applications. I'm going to find you guilty. I can ask that you be referred to the therapeutic community. I can't force them to place you in a therapeutic community, but you can apply for it and see if they will accept you. I'm going to sentence you to 14 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. Take in consideration 2022 CR 11026. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money run concurrent, and there's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. Showing you trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Mr. Reyes, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. We can go off the record. Mr. Reyes, I take no pleasure in sending people to prison. One of the hard parts of this job is I don't have a crystal ball to tell me how people are going to do. And I know that you're young, and I know that you're probably thinking it's the end of your world because it's 14 years prison. But in actuality, at some point in time, you're going to get out of prison. What you need to do when you go to prison, once you internalize that you're in prison, once you say, that judge, I hate that judge, or whatever, I can take it. You need to see about getting your education while you're at the prison. I've been a defense attorney. I've had clients who've gone to prison before. I even had a client who was younger than you, who was found guilty of murder and got sentenced to 40 years in prison. And let me just tell you, when he was sentenced to 40 years in prison, that broke my heart inside because he was very young. And my thought process was, oh my gosh, why did they do this to him? Because he can do so much with his life. He had a hard upbringing. His mom's not there for him. She's more there for her boyfriend. She didn't take care of him. He's trying to take care of his sisters. And you know who helped me get through that? My mom. I called her and my mom is like, Stephanie, your client was found guilty of killing somebody. That person that they killed, they're not going to have any life. Your client still will have a life when he gets out. So you still will have a life when you get out. And whether or not you were on probation or going to the prison, this time is going to pass. It's what you do with the time that's passing that's going to help you. You can go to the prison, get your college degree for free. You can go to prison, get drug treatment for free. You understand? And when you come out of prison, you need not be around the people you were previously around. So you still can change your life, still can do good things. Good luck to you. Yes. And tell Mr. Is this Eros Rodriguez? Tell him don't get into any more trouble.
I work well.
Oh, he'll be on probation.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Judge.
Mhm. All right, which one is that? Okay. Mr. Toshi on this. And did you have a chance to review this?
No,
And
this is between him.
it is, but there's something else. There's an I want to know if you've actually had contact with had contact with him,
Yes. My client?
because, yes,
Yes.
because that bond, they're not going to do anything with it until he actually presents himself. Like, it's not going to be put in the system until he presents himself.
Is he here? Mr. Nichols?
No, he's a bike in our system.
Oh, there he is.
He's here.
So
We
you may
we
want
spoke to him and told him to be here.
to, okay, so you may, they're going to take him into custody. I mean, I'll sign that, but I want to have a conversation with him because he has to stay in compliance.
Okay.
All right, so you want to talk to him first and then have them bring his file?
Sure.
All right. All right, could I see,
It's a night bag.
oh, it's a night mag, okay. Could I see the file on Eros Rodriguez? Caroline, this is this one. That's done. And then Julian Reyes, that's for that one. Okay, Joe Gonzalez.
John.
Yes, he is. Who's here on Joe Gonzalez?
Mr. Gonzalez.
All right, so what is happening with Mr. Gonzalez?
Judge, let me go first, if I may. Judge, I've just started conferring with Brittany as she just got assigned this case this morning. We brought some things to her attention that we would like her to consider in a plea remedy. And so I'm going to kindly ask the court for another plea deadline, but I think we may be beyond that, Judge, but I don't think this case has that many settings.
So specifically, where are we? Because last time I was here, it had to do with CPS records. So the court signed off on the release of the CPS records. So is there any discovery that you don't have?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so all discovery has been tendered?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll need a discovery acknowledgement signed today.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the next question, State, are you prepared to make an offer or no?
I would like to talk to the parents of the victim one more time.
All right, so Ms. Ferguson, I need a 30-day reset on Mr. Gonzalez.
March 23rd.
All right, we're going to come back on March 23rd. At that time, State, you need to be prepared to tender an offer. Mr. Gonzalez, you'll receive an offer either on the 23rd or before the 23rd. Then after the 23rd, I will give you a plea deadline date.
Very
You
good.
understand?
Okay.
All right, is there anything else?
No, ma'am.
All right,
so
thank
much.
you. All right, who's here on Robbie Gonzalez?
I am, Your Honor. Government is here too, Mr. Gonzalez.
All right, what is happening with Mr. Gonzalez?
We have, as the court may recall, there was a psychiatric
Yes.
evaluation requested. We have another appointment to finish it up on the 17th of February. They changed a little bit of the medication. And we can get the formal report, we're hoping within a week or so after that. He's made all the conditions, all the meetings, doing well.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, are we able to put Mr. Gonzalez at the end of the month or beginning of March?
Whichever date you want.
Let's do the first available date in March.
I can do the March 6th.
All right, so we're going to be back on March 6th, Mr. Gonzalez, and thank you for dressing appropriately for court. I appreciate that. All right, so we'll be back on March 6th at 9 a.m.
Very well.
Okay, thank you. All right, they'll give you a reset form and then your excuse. Who's that with him?
His mother.
Oh, Mom, thank you so much for coming. All right, who's here on John Dominguez? Yes. All right, and Mr. Bont, I know that you were recently appointed. Oh, your client should be in the middle. All right, so Mr. Dominguez, you've had a chance to speak with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So what we're gonna do, this is the first time your attorney, this attorney is being here. So we're gonna give your attorney a reset. If your attorney wants to come back sooner, he's more than welcome to let us know and we'll put it on the docket sooner. But I'm gonna give him a 30-day reset because that'll give him a chance to look at any discovery, okay?
Yes, yes, Judge. Yeah.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset on John Dominguez, please? All right, so we'll be back on March 21st at 9 a.m.
I'll try to get. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
May I, this is the CPS agreement, the state asked me to.
All right, it's done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I was want him there. While I'm up here, may I ask you about two different other things real quick?
Sure, just give me 1 second. Let me put this on the docket.
Which does. Says and that's. On John Dominguez. The whole thing I can look at this says he was one appointed in November, but I don't know who it was.
Yeah. It may be in the file, Norma. Let me see.
Briefly, I have two other things. Yesterday, I spoke to them about this amended judgment.
Okay,
I'm just gonna ask that they add the publication.
yes.
And then this, I spoke to the probation officer. I'm switching from no contact, no harmful injuries, contact the states and approve in agreement. probation.
Okay, the only thing about this, I require. Because who is the, because this is a felon in possession of the firearm, who's the no contact with?
It was his girlfriend at the time. Oh, they're still together. There was a family violence case. It was TIC for this plea. So the court put a no contact order. She's come to my office. I've given her information to Jason. She would like to have contact with them again.
All right, so on the,
Review the relationship.
okay, I understand that. So on these, even when the state is in agreement, I still, if she wants to appear by Zoom, I still like to have a conversation with the person who's
Okay.
now requested the no harm.
I'll get it set. Okay.
All right, so once that's done, we'll take
Thank
care
you
of it.
very much.
You're welcome. Are the parties ready on Domingo Martinez?
Oh, you read my mind. I was just coming up to.
Yes.
research on that.
All right. Okay, so what is with Domingo Martinez?
So, Your Honor, the basis for my opposition to that is the fact that the victim is the wife who would be going to Mexico with him and the lack of supervision in Mexico. He does have some prior federal history, but that was about 20 years ago. So it's just a matter, I don't feel comfortable agreeing to him go to Mexico with her.
Okay, I will tell you this, just so you're aware. The previous prosecutor agreed to him going. So I don't know if you were aware of that.
You know,
I will show
I go
you.
in the middle. I don't know. Be silent. I am not staunchly opposed. I am just.
So they've had him go there before.
Oh, he's been before?
Yes.
Okay, well, if he's been before and he's come back, then.
I'll be okay with that. I guess I had thought he has been denied before. I didn't realize he had. All right, Ms. Abrams, on Mr. Martinez. He's allowed to travel, but we'll follow the same rules as your analysis within 24 hours of return. All right, thank you, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day. Am I dismissed, Judge?
Probation will be in touch with you.
Okay.
Do you need to speak to him now or no? All right, just call your officer.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
All right. All right, Christopher Barrow. Norma, can you see where that defense counsel is? That's on page, my page 29.
I guess they were here, Your Honor. He was here. He did show up there.
And then we need Frysenhan on Stephen Matthews.
On his way from Hayes County.
All right, we need John Kuntz on Mr. Sanchez.
Megan was here.
We need Alfredo Ortiz on Devontae Pollard. Oh, okay, thank you. We need Nathaniel Navy on Chapman.
That was, I think, Tracy Franklin.
All right, and then have we completed Robbie Gonzalez?
Yes, we just did.
And then we need, what is happening on Paris Farris? All right, thank you. Yes.
No, it's
Oh, it's ready. Okay. You are moving so quickly. And then we need Bill Simmons on Marcelo Alonso.
He's here.
And we need Bob Behrens on Branch. Okay. Mr. Farris, if you come forward. Court is calling 2022 CR 11626, State of Texas versus Paris Farris. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Debbie, does somebody have the state, Your Honor?
Defense.
Jacqueline Lamerson for Mr. Ferris.
And are you Mr. Farris? All right, make sure you keep your voice up so I can hear.
Judge, before we begin, I'd just like to state for the record that my advice would be not to take this plea. We've talked about it. We've discussed the facts and evidence. At the end of the day, I'm not the one who makes that decision and my client wishes to go forward.
Okay. All right, have you received all the discovery in this case? Counsel?
Yes,
Have you
Judge.
received all the discovery in this case? And did you review it with your client?
I did.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Farris, I'm showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Proceeding on in count 1, paragraph 8. Waiving paragraph.
Any objection?
None.
Mr. Farris, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Do you understand you're charged with burglary of a habitation force? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand? If you have a plea bargaining agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He's been able to assist me in his defense, yes, Judge.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does,
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
yes.
Mr. Farris, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, state is proceeding on count 1, paragraph A. Punishment is to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine. The state recommends community supervision. They will take into consideration 2022 CR 8418. There's to be restitution of $500 to Stephanie Guerrero. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense?
Yes, Judge.
State.
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been such motions?
There have not been, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 10 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 150 hours of community service restitution, and no contact with Stephanie Guerrero. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense in count 1, paragraph A, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? All right, off the record for a moment. Deputy Laura, is he able to move to the other end?
Yes,
Okay. We're back on the record. State, do you have any evidence to support the plea?
At this, the state introduces state's exhibit 1 and all of its attachments.
No objections.
Mr. Farris, I'm showing you what's entitled wavering consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Judge.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Judge, just that Mr. Ferris is very motivated to do well in this probation, and he asked that the court follows our agreement. The only other thing that I would ask, Judge, is if you would probate the fine. He is indigent.
All right, so Mr. Farris, if you're released, where would you be living? Do you have a place to stay?
Yes, I do.
All right, so who would you be living with?
My wife.
I'm sorry?
With my wife.
All right. Are there any issues?
Not in our communications today, no, ma'am.
All right, does your wife want you living with her?
Of course, she had to be.
Well, I mean, just because a female may have someone's child, that doesn't necessarily mean that they want them living with them.
I would tell for her.
Well, I mean, again, people can help with children without living with someone. So here's the thing. If you end up seeing your wife and she doesn't want you staying with her, then you can't stay with her. All right. And are you all legally married? Did you go to the courthouse and Or did you have a ceremony?
That's courthouse.
Okay,
Did $150 for it.
all right. How many children do you have?
Two. She just had
Ages?
one and just had it. The other one, 2 boys.
Okay. What are their dates of birth?
What is their birth?
Mm-hmm.
She had one around probably December. The other one she was at
But no. You're giving me a month, but what is the child's date of birth? If the child, yeah, if the child is expecting a birthday gift from you and they want it on their birthday, when would they get it?
See that February, February 3rd. Yeah, somebody's on the 3rd.
All right, so you're saying February
They're
3rd.
7 months apart.
So that's one. So what's the date of birth of the other child? You're gonna have to do better. You understand?
I'll try. I'll try.
All right. That's a tattoo you can get on your arm instead of what you
I
have
was gonna get two tattoos.
with their dates of birth.
Yes, my word.
All right, and what is that other tattoo about?
I don't even know. They gave it to me.
Who is they?
Some friends of mine. I don't know. I don't know. None of this. It's probably my I don't know.
I mean, when did you receive that tattoo?
Long time ago.
Okay. So why were you in this apartment?
I was helping my friend move. I was doing a good deed. I just moved out of his couch and that was it. And she said I took something. I didn't take nothing. All I did was help us move the couch. And that was it, man.
All right, do you want a jury trial?
I just helped the guy out moving. I was the guy.
No. Here's my question. Do you want a jury trial or you want to go forward with this plea agreement?
I just want to get out.
No, I mean, do you want to have a jury trial or do you want to go forward with this plea? Because if you want a jury trial, then we will give you a jury trial, quick, fast, in a hurry. It won't be today.
I know that. But with
So-
that, for this plea, I'll get quick and hurry out.
I'm sorry, what?
That plea, I'll get quick and hurry out.
Here's the thing. When people think about doing plea agreements and their goal is, I want to get out, there are consequences to all of these cases for entering into pleas. So with this one, it's a criminal conviction. And you're not going to be allowed to have any weapons or ammunition because it's a criminal conviction.
One weapon I have is
Sometimes these pleas affect your ability or impact your ability to obtain an education and receive financial aid. Sometimes it impacts your ability to have certain forms of employment that requires licensing. It affects and impacts your ability to register to vote because you're a convicted felon. You won't be able to register to vote until you are no longer on paper. So if you want to go forward with the plea, the court will place you on probation. If you wish to have a jury trial, then the court will set this for a jury trial. So do you wish to go forward with this plea?
I want the plea. I want to get out. I mean, it just would be that child for now. He supposed to be my friend. I didn't even enter the house.
Well, let me just tell you what I
I just
read.
moved the couch out.
Let me just tell you what I read in the police report. It mentions your good deed, but if you're doing a good deed, you don't accept payment for it. So this is what's in the police report. It says, victim 1 and victim 2 were in the process of moving out of their apartment. Victim 2 asked you, which is described as AP, which stands for arrested person, to help with the move, and he would pay him some money. Arrested person stole victim 2's bicycle and left the location. While victim 1 and victim 2 were out dropping off belongings, the arrested person returned and entered the apartment without victim 1 and victim 2's consent. Arrested person took victim's property out of the apartment and left the location. Arrested person returned for more property and was caught by victim 2. Victim 2 detained arrested person until police arrived. So I will place you on probation. It's completely up to you. But if you want to go to a jury trial, we will give you a jury trial as well. So this is going to be my last time asking you. Do you want me to go forward with placing you on probation? That's a yes or no.
Probation.
All right, then this is what the court will do. The court will sentence you to 10 years in prison, suspended and probated for 10 years. There's $1,000 fine that'll be probated. Take into consideration 2022 CR 8418. There's to be $500 restitution and no contact with Stephanie Guerrero. There's to be proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Regular reporting in person or by Zoom. Regular UAs. No unsupervised contact with minors. Field visits one time per month. Probation, please check on the children. 150 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. Court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. Parenting classes with triple P, the remaining of the hours will be waived once you complete parenting classes. Probation, is there anything else he needs?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful on this probation, Mr. Farris?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, counsel, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
No.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Farris, you need to learn the birth dates of your children. You only have 2. Some people come here, they have 10. And you need to be a better father than them because they're expecting you to be in their life. All right? Okay, good luck to you. Yes. Intro. Okay. All right, thank you so much. Always good to see you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.
Devontae Pollard. Hello.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. All right, this is the first setting case. What's happening?
We confirmed with the prosecutor, Your Honor, and at the moment, Mr. Pollard has not accepted the offer that was tendered by the state.
All right, have you received all the discovery?
I need to check to whether I have all of it, Your Honor. So that's one of the reasons that I'm asking for a reset, Your Honor. But I think I confirmed with the prosecutor regarding that, and they said I should have it.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset on Mr. Pollard, please, for a plea deadline day?
March 21st.
All right, we're gonna come back on March 21st. Mr. Pollard, there will be your plea deadline date. Counsel, of course, if you discover that you don't have all your discovery, I'll extend the plea deadline date. Do you have any questions, Mr. Pollard? All right, they'll take you back then, and we'll see you back on that day. All right, Norma, so the persons we have remaining are Christopher Barode.
Stacy's here, we're conferring right now.
All right, thank you. And then we have Stephen Matthews. All right, thank you. Thank you. And we have Jonathan Sanchez.
Yes, Your Honor, we have an agreement, we're just waiting on the report.
All right, and then we have William Chapman.
I'm trying to get hold of Stacy, I contacted Jessica, to see if she can maybe get in contact with you.
Okay. And then we have Sean Branch.
Bob Barron's email, I'll text me and he said he was working on this.
Okay. And Marcelia Alonso.
Will's in the back talking to her whole.
Okay, all right, thanks. Okay. All right, so there can be no more reply all in the emails. I think IT did away with it. No, he hasn't given that back.
I don't know where his file.
Oh, his client is still on the back row. Mhm. But if you can ask Mr. Toshi to come back so we can take care of that matter. Yes, yes.
Judge.
Sure. Yes,
Just wanted to make sure that you knew one of them at time.
yes, no, you can. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. I just want to let you know. I know, I'm just, no, that's okay. Oh, no, you're going fine. I wanted to make sure. Yeah, no, I haven't.
Yes.
And it's really turned over.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then. Yeah, no, that was really expensive. Okay. So. You just say no. I believe they were there first. It's still like this, so. You have. Oh. Yeah. You sign everything. Well, I know.
Progress on the download. Extraction, cell phone, extraction of Sean Ranch. For the last time we did.
Okay.
They also need to- It's coming back. Yeah. Yes.
I see you got here.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Laura.
22, 11, I think.
Norma, ask Mr. Toshi if he's coming back for his client. All right, Sean Branch, you can come forward. All right, so the issue here was some sort of cell phone extraction.
So I have the cell phone extraction, Your Honor.
Awesome.
Yes, but I want to, I'll look through it today and I'll try to get him a copy tomorrow. I want to make sure there's no.
Okay. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna recall this case. I'm gonna give you all a 3-week reset. And that will be the final setting for discovery. Is there anything other than the cell phone extraction?
Not that I'm aware of, unless they find something themselves.
Okay, all right, so Mr. Branch, you understand the reason why they are not tendering the cell phone extraction today to your attorney? Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, so Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 3-week reset on Mr. Branch?
We can do March 2nd.
All right, is that enough time, State?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, so we'll be back on March 2nd. All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
Did she wear her hair in different ways? That's always.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Oh, you mean that?
No, I knew, no, I knew that. Oh, pretty tight.
Oh, no, can you hear us? Oh, Caroline, this is for you. That's done. And guys, we're gonna take our break no later than 12:30 today. And Norma, who is the person who I need to address about the,
I think Stacy's in the other room and no, Tracy's in this room and Stacy's in back.
all right, so once Tracy comes forward, I'll address that with Amir. His client. You know, today feels like a Friday, even though it's not a Friday. Am I right? And you know, the sunlight came early this morning, so you know they're about to change the time.
Oh, yeah.
And my mom has a problem with that because she's like, the poor children are out there waiting for the bus in the dark. They really need to stop that. Mom said the time should be geared around the children. All right, who are the parties on Maricela Alonso? Mr. Simmons, how's it going? Good morning. How's your great? How's your mom?
She's doing good.
All right, that's awesome. Still doing a lot. I know.
There's a funny joke about her. She wrote in a second. She walked. This is her golden year.
Mhm.
This was her 50th year.
Oh, wow.
So she got out of her chair and walked to the front. And they were presenting it. So I said, okay, so you can walk for 8 days, but you can't walk first. That's her.
Yeah. Oh, your mom is great. All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 10115, State of Texas versus Maricela Alonso. Could our parties announce for the record for the state?
Ruben Herrera for the state.
Defense?
Attorney Bill Simmons for defense.
And are you Mr. Alonso?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Miss Alonso.
Yes.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if you guys could move a little bit over. Okay. Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Alonso, I'm showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are done.
All right, with the repeat offender enhancement allegation?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Alonso, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Did you understand you're charged with endangering a child? Normally, that's a state jail felony. The range of punishment would be anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
But because the state is proceeding on the repeat enhancement allegation, it is now third-degree felony. The range of punishment is 2 to 10 years and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
In my opinion, she does, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
In my opinion, she was, Your Honor.
Ms. Alonso, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 4 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine and the state recommends community supervision. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense? Is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney?
Yes.
Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 6 years. Did you understand that was a recommendation from the state and the court does not have to follow that recommendation?
Yes.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence?
Your Honor, state exhibit number 1 and all attachments.
No objection.
Ms. Alonso, I'm showing you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements, police reports, and judgments, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Just pray that the court follow the plea agreement. He's taking many affirmative steps to address these issues, and she looks forward to completing this probation successfully.
All right. Ms. Alonso, how many children do you have?
I have to,
What are their ages?
14 and 3.
All right, so I'm assuming that your previous endangering a child involved the 14-year-old.
Yes.
And that was you driving while intoxicated? And now you have a 3-year-old and there's an endangering of child and it involves you being intoxicated at a bus stop holding your child.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your issue?
My issue is my alcoholism.
So I don't understand, how are you going to address that? Because it appears to me that you are putting your children's lives constantly in danger.
Yes.
So-
So I've been working on my recovery. I've been to rehab, to Volunteers in America, and I went to ITP at Haven for Hope, and then I also attended IOP after ITP at the Animal Center, and I'm currently residing at an Oxford house. And I attend my AA meetings weekly. I do 3 a week, sometimes more. I'm involved with my home group and my Oxford house. I was doing volunteer work at Animal Center where I was doing IOP while I was working the nights. But now I have moved up from my job position to day shift, so I can no longer volunteer there, but I still keep in contact with
those people and. um,
And where are your children?
So my little one, my 3-year-old, I have him, me and my uncle have an understanding that he will reside with my uncle. For quite some time, right? Because I do have a lot to work on for myself, so our priority, of course, is keeping him safe and keeping him with the family. And my 14-year-old, he stays with my mom.
All right. And how often do you see the 3-year-old?
So my 3-year-old, I see him every Sunday.
All right. And is it just your 3-year-old and the uncle, or is there somebody else there?
So my uncle and my aunt always supervise. I
Sure.
go and visit at their house.
All right. So your uncle and aunt actually have your 3-year-old.
Yes.
And how often is the 14-year-old seeing his brother?
So the 14-year-old about every other week, because he visits me at my Oxford, my 14-year-old. And so he'll come around about every other weekend, and so we'll make it a point for them to visit.
Okay. So how long are you going to be at Oxford Home?
A minimum of 1.5 years is what I'm being told. Like a recommendation of staying to
So how long have you been there?
about 5 months.
So here's the thing. I know, and I'm aware of Oxford House. I know they say that's a minimum, but I don't want you moving from the Oxford House without first discussing with your probation officer and getting approval from the court. You understand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't make any move, of course, until I'm speaking with my probation officer. Any move I make or I'm willing.
If I may, Your Honor, she has certificates to solidify everything that she said today, the affirmative steps she's taking, and her sponsors here as well. So,
Hi.
and she did speak with probation, with the prosecutor.
Okay.
With the family.
All right. All right. Thank you. So is there anything else that I need to know about you? Where do you see your life going? Where do you want it to go?
Well, I wanted to keep continuing on. So right now, like, I have a job that I never got. I was gonna have Monday to Friday, like an 8 to 5, 9 to 6 type of job. And I moved up in my position. I'm getting advancement. Like my recovery is. Without me being in recovery, none of this would be possible. So of course, I would still maintain my AA meetings and my home group and staying involved in the recovery. Because there's other activities out there. It's not just about going to meetings. There's a lot of other activities out there that involve recovery, and those are other organizations that I want to get involved with. So just continuing to move forward and staying positive and keeping my children safe is the priority of everything.
Okay.
If I'm not sober, and if I'm not just, I can't do that for my
Is
children.
Child Protective Services involved or no?
No.
All right. Well, I'm glad you are doing better because, as you know, the 3-year-old and the 14-year-old depend on you. And some people who have children who are 30 still depend on them.
Mm.
Right. And 21-year-olds still depend on you. So if you're not healthy, then they can't depend on you. So I'm glad you're putting your life in the right direction.
It took me a long time, as you can see, for me to actually start doing this.
Okay. All right. Well, I will tell you, I've done a lot of work with treatment courts, and it's every day at a time, one day at a time. Make sure you always remain vigilant. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I don't know if your sponsor wanted to say something.
We were entertained, but I believe she said anything.
Did the sponsor need to say anything?
I was just saying.
Oh, you can come forward. All right. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I
All right. You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
do. Sunny Sides.
All right. That's a nice name. Sunny, when people say your first name is Sunny, it just brightens everybody's day.
My mother's very Southern.
Oh, where is she from?
She's from Texas.
All right, no, you can't be any more southern than Louisiana, so
Well,
you're
you know
not gonna
what,
have.
you're right. Yeah, Texas is kind of its own thing.
All right, so what did you wish to say?
I was gonna say that I'm a pretty intense sponsor when it comes to working with, for over 11 years. I've been working with a lot of women and I've seen Maricela on her journey and sometimes we followed it, but I've never seen Maricela with the freedom that she has right now because she's doing what she needs to do. And so she's the one that chose to put the kids in with her. It was her choice to put them in with her aunt and uncle and the teenager where he wants to stay in his high school with, you know, his grandmother. And she's still very much involved. And she, even though she wants to have them with her, she knows what's best for them. And it's just amazing to me. It's just, she's different this time.
All right, thank you so much.
I learned from her.
Oh, awesome. And thank you for being a sponsor. We need to have, you know, sponsors for people, somebody they can pick up the phone and call if they're having a bad day, because bad days do happen.
Yes.
All right. And thank you so much for coming to court with her.
Oh, thank you for letting me have a voice.
All right. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may, the only thing I left out was we were asking if the court would consider probating an amount of the fine that's not opposed by the state.
Oh, I always probate the fine unless there's a reason for me not to probate it.
No objection.
Okay. All right, the court will sentence you to 4 years in prison, suspended and probated for 6 years. There's a $1,500 fine that will be probated. There will be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be 100 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring you to get the vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. I am going to want parenting classes. If they're providing parenting classes where you are, those classes can count. And once you complete those parenting classes, the remaining of the hours will be waived. You're to reside at Oxford House. And you're to continue with current treatment, and probation should provide you a release because they're going to need a release for you to continue with that treatment. And your provider is going to need to make sure they stay in contact with probation to make sure they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
I'm going to, I will say field visits probation, but just check in once a month to make sure that she's still at Oxford House. And we'll do regular UAs and probation. Usually at Oxford House, they'll send them for UAs. If you want to use those UAs as your UAs, you can, but I'm going to want regular UAs, proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. Probation, is there anything else she needs?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful? All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you. Continue on the path that you're on. All right, you're welcome. Probation needs to go over conditions with her. You're welcome. Who's here on William Chapman? All right, Mr. Frank, I'm sorry, I keep saying Mr. for everybody, but Ms. Franklin, before we take up Mr. Chapman, my understanding is that you're maybe going to be hired on a case involving client Scott with Mr. Amir Momori.
Anything about that, Your Honor?
All right, Yes.
Okay,
So that is going to jury trial
okay,
next week,
next week.
Monday.
Okay.
All right. So I've instructed Mr. Memori to be here in case you all decide that you do not wish to be retained because it is going to trial.
Okay.
William Chapman, come down, please. What is happening with this case?
I'm asking for the warrant to be recalled, Your Honor, and requesting a reset. I am missing some discovery in the case that I do need to review before I can go forward. So I think we can get him out in the meantime.
All right, have you talked to the state about this recalling of the warrant?
No, Your Honor, I haven't.
All right, does somebody wish to speak to her? It's family violence.
Yeah, what do you ask?
All right, while you all discuss that, let me see Mr. Nichols. You can have a seat, sir. Timothy Nichols. Did you need something? Okay. All right, Mr. Nichols. They are, I'm signing the commitment order. What was his bond set at on the, this case? All right, the bondsman is asking to be placed back on your bond. I'm being instructed that you haven't received your magistrate's warning. I'm going to sign the motion to the request to reinstate the bond with the bondsman, but I will give you your magistrate warnings. What I can tell you is I don't know anything about your case other than what you're charged with. Any questions about the facts of your case, you'll need to speak to your attorney about that. So you have a right to remain silent, a right to have an attorney appointed to your retained counsel. I note that Mr. Toshi is representing you. Mr. Toshi, are you appointed or retained?
I was appointed judge very recently, but appointed.
All right, so Mr. Toshi is your appointed counsel. If you decide to have an interview with anyone from the state or the police, you have a right to have your attorney present. Once you begin the interview, you can terminate the interview at any time, but anything you say can be used against you in another proceeding. If you're a foreign national, you have a right to have access to your consulate. With regards to the appointment of an attorney, they will determine whether or not you're indigent, which obviously they would determine you're indigent because you have an attorney present. Your attorney that is appointed to represent you will contact you by the next business day, but again, your attorney is present. Do you have any questions? All right, your bond is set at $3,000, which is what the previous bond was set at. I need you to sign this document stating that I've gone over your warnings with you. I'm sorry, one other final thing, you have a right to have an examining trial as well. Well, I've signed the motion to reinstate bond.
Okay.
So whatever needs to be placed in the system, that will be placed in the system. I've reset his bond for $3,000 because I noted that he was, it was due to the bondsman that surrendered, filed an affidavit to surrender surety.
Okay.
So. Caroline.
Yes.
Caroline. Who's here on Stephen Matthews?
So.
And
They're gonna take you out.
James, if you make sure that they just have that, the clerks.
Oh.
I'll just give that to the clerk and they'll follow it. All right, what's happening with Stephen Matthews?
I'm sorry. Yes, Judge, we've just been confirmed with DA. We received an offer today
prior to this, what had been going on is two things. First off, the state had been trying to get a hold of the victim in this case to see if there's any restitution due.
Yes.
And to see what her attitude is about the case. Also, my client had been going through a series of psychiatric evaluations. We believe we have a final one done and we're waiting on a written report. My client would like a little bit of time to ponder the state's offer, and we'd like to be able to get the written psychiatric report to the DA's office. We have an agreement for one final reset with the understanding that when we come back next time, we're either going to cut a deal or they'll settle on something.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a 30-day reset for a plea deadline date on Mr. Stephen Matthews.
Thank you,
All right.
Judge. Thank you,
March
Judge.
21st, Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form.
Thanks, Judge.
You're welcome. Oh, yes, sure. All right, what is happening with Chapman? Where's the attorney on William Chapman?
She might have stepped out to the side. Yeah, Judge, she mentioned she had a plea in another court. I told her she wanted to finish early, so I don't know. I don't think she would.
All right, and Jonathan Sanchez, we're just waiting for probation to come back and then we'll take that up. And then Christopher Barode. We will take that up as after probation comes back. My understanding there were pleas of not true with Judge Angelini. Has that changed?
There were pleas of not true. Additionally, Your Honor, there's other violations that we're gonna add on the amended. But I believe that will have to be separate. We've conferred as much as I hope we can.
All right, so we're having a contested hearing on the use of controlled substances. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I don't know what they're actually gonna go on. So we intend to do an amended where we're gonna add, there's a failure to report. I believe for a series of months, there's some other technical violations. Additionally, there's a new number 1 for assault with the same victim. But it's pending in Travis County. That's on.
Yeah, that's on here. And there's already been an amended with the
new drug case.
The new drug case and the assault case.
Yes, the new drug case, the results have not come back yet.
All right, Mr. Chapman. I'm sorry, not Chapman, Barrow. Where has he come forward? Sure, no problem. All right, this is being set for a contested hearing. Ms. Ferguson, can you reset this for a contested in 3 weeks, please?
March 6th.
March 6th. All right, your contested hearing is going to be on March 6th at 11 a.m.
Thank you, Jan.
And Judge, just for the purposes of this hearing, I'm requesting any evidence you plan to present at that hearing, officially requesting it.
Okay, we'll make sure it gets up. You have access to the e-discovery.
I do, yeah, so you can upload it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form. All right, the party's on Jonathan Sanchez. Court is calling 2022 CR 11096, State of Texas versus Jonathan Paul Sanchez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Mitchell for the state.
Defense?
Megan Enriquez, present for John Coons for Jonathan Sanchez.
And are you Mr. Sanchez?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Sanchez, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, sorry, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we'll waive counts 1 and 2 and proceed on count number 3, which is the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, Mr. Sanchez, the attorney who's standing in today is not Mr. Kuntz. Do you have any objection to this attorney standing in?
No, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled court's admonishment and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand in count 3, you're charged with the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That's a 2nd-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call them the right to remain silent?
Yes,
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you understand, if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, he has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, I believe he does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, I believe he is.
Mr. Sanchez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you in to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Very much, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, state recommends deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon, affirmative finding of family violence, and there should be no contact with Nancy Medrano, Medrano. Did you understand with the affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of your plea? Defense?
Your Honor, after we send the paperwork, we are going to amend, and I believe the state's in agreement, the no contact order to no harmful or injurious contact with Nancy Medrano, and that's his mother.
So, Your Honor, and that occurred while they were doing the paperwork. They approached me and I said I would agree on the record to no contact with her resident. And no
Before the court considers doing that, I would have to have a conversation with Ms. Medrano.
Okay, and I believe the state has spoken to her as recently as yesterday.
We did speak to her, Your Honor, but well, of course.
Okay, because I don't agree to,
Okay,
I mean, I will take under advisement what both parties are saying, but I need to speak to that person before I do that.
Okay.
So understand, Mr. Sanchez, that the court will keep in place a no contact with Nancy Medrano. But at some point in time, if the defense wants to have a hearing on that particular issue, then your mother can appear by Zoom or she can appear in person and the court will listen to her testimony. And the court may decide to change that to no harmful or injurious contact. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knowing that, do you still wish to go forward with the plea?
Yes.
All right, is that the entirety of the plea bargain agreement state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. The state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 3 years. You're to remain in custody for a TAP evaluation, and you're to follow all recommendations from the TAP evaluation. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, sir.
Then to count 3 in the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence.
Your Honor, we have the state's exhibit number 1 and all attachments.
No objection.
Mr. Sanchez, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, I do believe that he will be successful on deferred adjudication probation. He has the support of his father, who's been here in the courtroom all morning in the red sweater and has been here, I believe, for every court setting that we've had, and been very helpful. Jonathan has used his time in custody since August. He's taken a parenting class at the jail. He's taking art classes at the jail. And I do believe he's going to follow all the rules that this court imposes, and he's not going to have any issues, and I expect him to be successful.
All right, how many children do you have?
I have 2 children, Your Honor.
What are their ages?
4 and 5.
And when's the last time you had contact with them?
I have video contact with them a couple of weeks ago. I spoke with them on the phone less than a week ago. And before that, I took my daughter to her first day of school this year.
Mhm.
But yeah, physical contact, it was the day before. It was September 9th.
All right, so is there a legal custody arrangement with your children?
Yes, so I had a CPS case that I successfully completed, and right now my children are staying with the mother of my children. And the court kind of left it up to the mother of my children to decide how much contact, other than like a couple times out of the week, but she lets the kids come with me whenever, I want, like if I want them to spend the night or whatever. They actually spent the night at my mother's house with me, like I guess 6 months ago. But I love my children very much, and I want to do the best thing that I can to better myself, so that way I can be better for my children.
All right, so just so you know, the court is not going to allow you to have unsupervised contact with your children until I'm satisfied that you're clean and sober. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So how far did you go in school, and have you had employment before?
Yeah, so I have my GED and I have some college credits from Tarrant County College, but I've also went to school for electronical engineering at ITT Tech. I just did 1 semester, but and as far as my employment goes, I was a senior agent at a company called Direct Express. And I handled all of like Social Security benefits. So anybody that would receive Social Security benefits or military benefits, I was the person on the other end of the phone number for the card processor, where I would help them with all of their banking information and help protect their Social Security benefits.
Okay. I don't know if you should be doing that, but all right. All right, this is what the court is going to do. 3 years deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon, affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Nancy Madrano. Again, that can change once you're clean and sober. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. Again, that could change once you provide proof to the court that you've been clean and sober. So if you were to have contact with your children, it would have to be with an approved chaperone. And you just let probation know who that person is going to be. Probation will call that person, do a background check to see if they would be appropriate chaperones. You understand?
Yes,
There is to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. When he's released, I'm going to want field visits at least 2 times per month. There's going to be a TAP evaluation while in custody. Follow TAP recommendations. I'm also going to run a referral to felony drug court. Counsel, I think really felony drug court is the best place for him. They do it on a case-by-case basis. So it will probably be best for you to contact felony drug court, let them know that I'm recommending him for felony drug court evaluation and explain to them the circumstances behind this case, because sometimes people see that it's an aggravated assault and they'll say no automatically. Felony drug court usually doesn't do that, but I know they have limited spaces, so they want to know that he's very serious. So just call them right away and let them know this is coming to them and tell them the facts of the police report. And I think they see that it's involving that he wanted heroin and he wanted it now. They'll probably end up accepting him.
Thank you, Your Honor. No, it's a great program and I'll make sure that he gets referred there.
All right, so we'll do a referral to felony drug court, and he's to remain in custody for the referral to felony drug court. He's to remain in custody for the TAP evaluation. You need to be honest with felony drug court. If you're not honest with them, they're not going to accept you. And if felony drug court doesn't accept him, then he's to follow all recommendations of the TAP evaluation. We're going to do 200 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. I'm going to want parenting classes with Triple P. Once you complete the parenting classes, the remaining of the community service hours will be waived. We'll do anger management and UA hotline upon release. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Thank you. Proof of employment within 30 days of release. And there's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Is there anything else, probation? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful in this probation?
No, no.
All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. You're welcome. All right.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. So the last person on Chapman, Norma, just recall this for tomorrow. All right, Mr. Chapman, we'll see you back tomorrow. All right. And so that will be all. I don't expect us to continue with the jury trial because the mental health evaluation. So we're not going to be continuing with the jury trial. And we will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m.